lecture is going to cover Unit D in Microsoft Office 2013, which is creating a document in Microsoft Word. Some of the objectives in this unit will be to learn how to create a new document from an existing file, learning how to enter text in a document, select and edit text, copy text, move text, find and replace text, format text using the mini toolbar, check spelling and grammar, and then preview and print a document. So what I'll do is I'm going to flip back and forth between the PowerPoint and Microsoft Word and demonstrate some of these tasks. So the first thing we're going to do is when you create a new document from an existing file, sometimes it's easier to take a file that has already been created if you're going to create a file that would be somewhat similar. So what I've done is I've got a file that's already been created and saved. You can see that it's named existing file up here. I've got text in it that's states that this is an existing file. So if I wanted to create a new document off of this existing file, I would go to Save As, Word Document. I would elect where I want to save it. We'll just call this an existing file number 2, and then I would save. And it's that simple. Let's take a look back at our objectives. Entering text in a document. Real quickly, entering text is as simple as just typing on the keyboard. You can see the flashing cursor on the screen. That's called the insertion point. So wherever the insertion point is located is where any text that you begin to type will be displayed on the screen. So if I wanted to type a sentence that says, "This is a copy of an existing file," and that's how I would enter text. And you can see that the cursor is still flashing, has moved and is now flashing at the end of the sentence, which is where I stopped typing. So that's how to input text into a Word document. Now, if I decide that I don't like the text that I created, or maybe if I want to edit the text in this file, I could select the text, which there's more than one way to select text. You can click to the left or click to the right of the text that you want to select, and you can click and hold down your left mouse button and drag to the left, and now I've got the text that's highlighted is selected. So depending on what I want to do with that text, I can delete it, I can click and drag and move it, I can cut it out, or I believe I already mentioned delete it. So there's several options several things that I can do with it. So in this case, I'm going to select it as it is now, and I'm just going to mash the delete key, and now it's deleted. Okay. Now, if I wanted to take the text that we see on the screen now, this is a copy of an existing file, and select this sentence, and let's just say that I wanted to underline this sentence. Well, I could select the sentence that I want to underline. I could go to my toolbar up on the ribbon here, and this is called the ribbon across the top of your Microsoft Office application. All the applications that we cover in this course have this ribbon, and each ribbon has tabs, and you can see there are different functions and features on each tab. You can click the tab name, or if you hover your mouse over the ribbon and use your mouse wheel, you can roll your wheel forwards and backwards, and then you can scroll between the tabs just like that. So you can see that I've got my cursor hovered over the ribbon, and I'm moving my mouse button or my mouse wheel backwards, and now moving it forwards. So it changes the ribbon for you. Just a quick note there. Okay, so back to our text that's selected. Let's say I want to underline it. So I select the text by clicking and dragging, and I click the underline button in the font group on the home tab, and it underlines my sentence. Okay. Excuse me, I had to pause there. I'm battling a little bit of a cold. So now I've got my text that was selected. It's underlined. So let's just say that I don't want to underline this text, or I don't like the way the underline looks. I can highlight this text again to remove the underline. Now before, I clicked with my mouse, the left mouse button, and I drug the mouse to the left to highlight the text. You can also, from wherever your cursor is positioned, hold down the Shift key, use the left arrow on the keyboard, and you can highlight the text that way. Alright, so now I've got the entire sentence selected. Let's just say I want to remove the underline, and I want to bold and italicize that text. And now you can see that's what I've done. So that's how you select and edit text. Now, let's say that I wanted to duplicate or copy the text in this file and paste it at another location in this same file. A lot of times when you're writing, say, a paper or writing an email, most people will type it out, reread it, and if they don't like something that they've typed, they'll edit it. Well, instead of deleting the text and typing it over somewhere else, you can cut that text out or copy the text out. And cut and copy are two different functions. Cutting the text means that you take the text from where it's at and move it to another location, either in the same document or a different document. Copying the text just makes an exact copy of this text that's selected that can be pasted somewhere else in the document. So the original text remains in the same place. So we're going to do that. I'm going to copy this text. I'm going to hold down my Shift key and use my right arrow. It's just one way to do it. I'm going to right click the highlighted text, and you see a menu, and you are given features: cut, copy, paste, font, paragraph, and several others. We're looking for copy. So I copy that text, and I want to put a couple of blank line in between the text that's on the document now and the text that I'm going to paste. And pasting is what you call, once you've copied or cut text in a document, paste is the function you use to make it reappear or paste it, place it somewhere else in the document. So I'm going to right click, select paste, and there's the text that I've copied. Okay, pretty simple. Alright, so now I've changed my mind again. I don't want an empty line between these two sentences. I want them to be side by side. So in order to do that, I can move the text. So I'm going to double click this, I'm going to select this sentence, and there's plenty of ways to do it. You can cut it and paste, which will cut it from this location, and we can paste it into the new location. Or if the text is selected, you can click and drag, and you can move it to wherever you want. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so that's some of the features so far. We'll look at a few more. The next one is a very, very useful tool. It's the find and replace text. Let's say that I wrote a letter to somebody important at the company that I work for. And throughout the letter, I call out this important manager's name 2 or 3 times. And I proofread my letter when I'm done, only to find out that I've misspelled this person's name. And I type this person's name, we'll just say 15 times throughout the letter, throughout the note that I've written this person. Okay, well, I don't want to have to search through manually, line by line, to find this person's name every time I typed it and correct the spelling, because I don't want to run the risk of overlooking one and missing it, so I don't offend the person whose names that I've misspelled. Okay, so one way to do that, and in this example we'll use a word out of one of the 2 sentences on the screen, and we'll use the find feature to find some of this, find a word in one of the 2 existing sentences. So you can find text in a couple of different ways. You can use the Find button, which is in the editing group on the Home tab, which you would click the pair of binoculars, Find, and you would see a box that pops up, and it would ask you, okay, what do you want to find? Well, I want to find the word files. Actually, that should be file, but we'll type in the word files. All right, I want to highlight that word so I can correct it, because my sentence is incorrect. It should say this is a copy of an existing file, not files. So I want to find that and correct it. Okay, so I've got my word typed in, the word that I'm looking for in the Find What box, and I click Find Next. All right, so immediately it goes to the first word, or the first instance of the word files that it sees, and I can delete my S. All right, but I want to do that one more time. I'll make sure that I have no others in this document. I click Find Next again, and sure enough, I find another word that's misspelled, so I can easily remove the S. Now, another way to do that, and I'm going to undo the changes that I just made, is to do a find and replace. So there's a couple of ways to do find and replace. You can click the replace button in the editing group on the Home tab, or you can use a keyboard shortcut, Control F, which will bring up the same box, and you can go to the replace tab. Alright, so I've already got the word, the find function, kept the last word that I typed in to the previous session of using the find function. So it's still got that text in there. Okay, so I know what I want to find, and that's the word files. But what do I want to replace it with? Well, like before, I said that my sentence should read, this is a copy of an existing file, not files. So what I'll do is say I want to find every instance of the word files and replace it with the word file. So we will type in that information, click Find Next. It will find it. It'll ask me if I want to replace or replace all. It'll give me those two functions, or two options. So I'll click Replace, and you can see it changed it. And then it's highlighted the last instance of files, and I want to replace that as well. And then when it's done searching the document, you'll get this pop-up that says Word has just finished searching the document. So now we're good. We've already found and replaced all of those instances in the file, so we shouldn't have to worry any longer. Alright, so that's using the Find and Replace text feature. The next objective was format text using the Mini Toolbar. Mini Toolbar is really neat. Essentially what the Mini Toolbar is this group of functions right here in the font group. It gives you the ability to highlight a word. You see how once the word is highlighted and I hover over it, you can vaguely see the Mini Toolbar here up here. And if you look closely, you can see that it's pretty much the same functions on this toolbar as up here. I think the only difference is you have some of the indentation functions on the Mini Toolbar. So, and you can see that here. Bullet points, font color, highlight, bold, italicize, font face, font size. So this is the Mini Toolbar. So let's just say I wanted to highlight the word existing to make sure everybody knew that this was a copy of an existing file. I could do that. Or I could even highlight the word existing in the second sentence, and I could use a different color. I can make that green. So that's the Mini Toolbar. Essentially what it does is it's a shortcut for formatting text. You don't have to go up to the top every time that you want to use a feature in the font or paragraph groups. Okay? Alright, so that's the Mini Toolbar. Now, check spelling and grammar. This is a very handy feature. It's also a feature that is somewhat dangerous, honestly, because if you rely on spell check enough, you'll forget how to spell a lot of words. And that's, if you don't believe me, try it for a while, and you'll find yourself having a difficulty typing out words or sentences in a program that doesn't contain spell check. So, but anyway, so I want to spell check this entire document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Review tab, and in my version of Microsoft Office, the Spelling and Grammar button looks like this. So I want to review, or I want to check the spelling and grammar. So I'm going to click that button, and it'll start through the file. The first thing it does is finds a misspelled word. This is a copy of an existing, without a G, file, and it offers some suggestions. Not always, but the majority of the time, the suggestion that's highlighted at the top is usually the correct one. And if I want to use that, take that suggestion, I would just click the button that says change. It'll change it. Now, spell check has gone on to the next misspelled word. This is a copy of an existing file, suggestions. It gives me a suggestion to restructure the sentence by using a copy of existing files or copies of an existing file without the S. Let's see, let's cancel this actually. Let's try that one more time. Let's do the spell check from there. Existing, that's misspelled. We want to change that. Alright, then now it finds a grammatical error. It says this is a copy of an existing file. And it gives me a few suggestions. Copy of an existing file, or copies of an existing file. In this case, I don't want either. I want to keep what I've got. So I'm going to say ignore once, and then I'm going to close. Alright, so now my spelling is corrected. So it's pretty simple. Grammar is corrected. You see the green squiggly line here? Let's take a look at that. When you see a green squiggly line, usually it's a grammatical error. When you see a red squiggly line, that's usually a misspelled word. So in this case, we've got a green squiggly line. If you want to know what the green squiggly line is, just click anywhere on that line, right click it, and it gives you some suggestions. So I see what my error is. Should say this is, and that'll fix it. Same thing here. So it highlights a sentence that doesn't necessarily flow grammatically the way it should. Misspelled words. So those are some of the features of the spelling and grammar check. Alright, and then the last thing I'm going to cover for Unit D is how to preview and print a document. There's a couple of ways to do that. Let's see. You have print layout, which is one. That's what we're looking at now. We're in print layout. Let's see, page layout. We're also looking for print preview. Okay, I don't really see it here. There is a shortcut that you can add to the toolbar up top, and you can add features and functions of this quick launch. I'll give it if it was quick launch. I think it's a quick launch toolbar up top. You can do that by clicking the little down arrow, and it'll give you a list of what you can add. Like you can see, I've got new file, save, email, quick print, print preview, undo, and redo. Those are some less of the more popular commands. So you can add those up there, or you can do it the normal way, which is go to File, and we're going to, let's see, select Print. Let's see, Options. Actually, this is the wrong place. Let's go to File. We'll wait just a minute. And didn't want to print that. Let's try this. Print. Okay, print preview. Print preview is what you want to look at. So if I print this out on a printer, this is what this document will look like. This is going to be, you can find this in what they call the Backstage view in Office 2013. You click the, I believe it is the File tab, and go down to Print, and you should have some options for print preview. Alright, so that's it for Unit D. This will be posted in Integrity and on YouTube shortly. So if you have any questions, just send me a note through course messages. Thank you.